it is possible to access the contact information, whether it be an email address or a business address you can send a letter to contact the people who are allowed to nominate someone for the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, that may actually be a very dubious statement. I don't know if it actually is a requirement. I mean, can't anybody just recommend to anybody for the Nobel Peace Prize? There's probably millions of letter campaigns going on. Britney Spears recommended for the Nobel Peace Prize, right? Do you really think Britney Spears fans wouldn't do that? All right, so obviously there must be some sort of vetting process. People hate that kind of thing. People hate this one trick. Because if there's a vetting process, any lunatic, if there wasn't one, any lunatic could claim to have been nominated, like this. I could have any of you send a recommendation by letter or by email to everybody who can nominate someone for the Nobel Peace Prize. But would that make it to where I claim legitimately that I have been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize? Now remember, the only reason a person would say I've been nominated, didn't win, is because you're trying to gain prestige that you haven't earned. That just means you're one of thousands of losers. But let's go on with it. What does it take to get nominated? Well, here we go for the few pieces of information I'm going to give you on this. A Nobel Peace Prize can be won for outstanding contribution each of the following subjects: chemistry, physics, literature, philosophy, medicine, and for peace. This is one of the more controversial ones because, well, anyway, for Peace Prize to be won, it has to be a person who shall have done the most or the best work for fraternity between nations among all other possible people. For the abolition and or reduction of standing armies and or the holding and promotion of peace congresses. So you have to either hold a peace congress, contributed to the abolition or reduction of standing armies, done the most or best work for the fraternity between nations. You can't drive a wedge between nations. You can't be a person who's screaming, kill a specific country and blaming them for 9/11, because that would probably disqualify you and nobody would take that seriously, and none of the nominators would probably do that. But let's go on. From 1901 to 2018, this is the best numbers I can get because honestly the Wikipedia article's shit, and I'm not going to dig any deeper than that because it's not really relevant. The Nobel Peace Prize went to 107 individuals and 24 organizations. That works out to 130 some odd awards in 109 years. 19 times no Peace Prize was awarded, and in one case it said we couldn't find anybody who was worth giving it to. They're basically making their statement about how bad the world was. Nobody had done enough. So it would mean a lot if you were nominated legitimately for the Nobel Peace Prize, correct? 2017, February, on a website run by somebody. The website calling itself or being associated with something calling itself the Defense and Intelligence Norway website, which has nothing to do with the government of Norway and has nothing to do with the subject matter it's named after. It's a fluff site. Editor-in-chief Norwegian truther Jan Kalvik put up a story which has been deleted since then because it's evidence. Links below in the description. Archives happen. This person at this, who's an editor-in-chief at a Defense and Intelligence Norway website that has absolutely nothing to do with its assertion. Again, we have to have a false pretense here, of course. Is obviously, if you're not aware of it already, he's not an accredited Nobel Prize nominator, much less for the Peace Prize. He's not able to nominate anybody. But he made an assertion that he asked someone he knew who was an accredited nominator to nominate someone, but won't tell us who it is for a specific reason. A very simple catch-22 that would be available if we knew who it was, and I'm sure he'll respond to the video and tell us which person it was so we can contact them and make sure they really are an accredited nominator for the Peace Prize. Robert David Steele was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, according to this guy, because he asked someone to nominate him. by that definition, Britney Spears was, because yes, dead ass people flooded the inboxes for everybody they could find to get Britney Spears jokingly put up as a nominee for the Nobel Peace Prize. So Robert David Steele is in the same cess bucket as every other loser for the Nobel Peace Prize. Because that's literally the entire story. No, Robert David Steele was not nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. That's just the end of it. And I can say that with great confidence, because it's an assertion that must be proven because of its meritorious or infamous nature. If you make a claim that you're the one who shot JFK, you have to prove it. Let's not even get into other... Anyway, he also claims he was a former Marine Corps infantry officer. Okay. And then he said he was a CIA spy. He said he was also recommended as a candidate. Let me guess. A friend of a friend asked somebody to pass along a message. Recommended as a candidate for Secretary of Defense to replace James Mattis. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. No. Because you didn't provide just a completely cast iron proof that this happened. He also claimed he was an expert who was critical of the corruption of the Nobel Peace Prize, calling it a political cartoon and at worst a dubious honor for proven war criminals. At the time, he said he was being nominated. When he wasn't being nominated, period, full stop. Again, I'm going to repeat this. Robert David Steele, who's a litigious asshole, was never recommended to be on the Nobel Peace Prize. He was never nominated because the people who could nominate him aren't being named. Well, that's secret. No, it isn't secret who you asked to do this. And by not divulging that and deleting the page that proves this is what really happened, you are lying. You're a liar. And there's nothing you can do about it. After this video is uploaded, I'm going to archive the page with the entire listing of what I'm saying here. It can be passed around to anybody who wants to call you on your horse shit. You were never in the CIA. I doubt that you were ever a Marine, and I know damn good and well you were not nominated for Secretary of Defense because you made a claim that is supposed to be a glittering level of prestige, but really you just asked a friend of yours at some other truther website to contact somebody by email, or maybe he never did. And of course it says this will never be revealed because that's how the rules work for the Nobel Peace Prize. No, it isn't. The only time you're not allowed to tell anybody who is nominated is if they were. You're allowed to say, that person was never nominated, which is the reason we're not told who is contacted. If you contact the person who can actually do the nomination that you claim got it, all you have to ask him is, did you nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize? And he can say no. He can't say yes, but he can definitely say no. If he refuses to respond, that can be a positive statement. All you have to do is read back the rest of the shit this guy says, and I'm absolutely sure he'll tell you no. Yeah, he was criticizing the Nobel Peace Prize, blah, 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 blah. And they did this as a joke. Like a lot of people trying to get Britney Spears the Nobel Peace Prize. It was funny. So you did this as a little bit of artwork. Maybe you're tongue-in-cheek, saying that you were nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. No, you're dead-ass saying you were when you weren't. You had a friend of yours send an email to somebody or a letter, or none of that actually happened, and it's just bullshit. And it's easy. Tell us the name of the person that the nomination was sent to do the work, because the nominator is allowed to identify himself and is allowed to say, no, I never did that. What else did this guy say? Well, in 2019, Robert David Steele, in an article that's also probably been deleted, but we'll see, claimed 911 was planned and executed by the Zionists. And the Zionists, it was a follow-up to the USS Liberty attack done in collusion with the Democratic President Lyndon Baines Johnson, assuming presidency after leading a cabal to assassinate JFK and shit. Among a dozen other things. Just look him up and look up the word Zionist. Yes, in this case, he's using the word Zionist as a code word for the Jews did it. This is a guy who mocked the Nobel Peace Prize itself. had a friend of his jokingly send a recommendation to someone he knew was, or he claims, we don't even know that, claims was someone who was authorized to nominate people. And he claimed he was nominated because his friend said so. And Britney Spears is a fucking brain surgeon. That explains a lot. She experimented on herself. How noble of her. Names of nominees and other information about nominations cannot be revealed until 50 years later if it was really done. By doing it this way, you have left an unfortunate gigantic train tunnel-sized hole for me to pack with mayonnaise and just ram home. The only thing we need to know is who you sent this recommendation to. Now, they can refuse to answer. That doesn't mean you were nominated. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But if I forward every other fucked up thing you've ever done and said, I guarantee you, if you weren't recommended or nominated, the person will say, fuck no, that guy was never recommended or nominated by me at all. This is why any nomination or awards process for anything like this should never be secret. It allows people to claim some level of prestige they don't deserve. And it is one of the things I have to agree with a few people on about the nomination process for the Nobel Peace Prize and the Nobel Prizes in general. Ironically enough, this guy is also one of those people who complained about not being able to find it out. And other people did it for the same reason. Because people claim all the time that they're Nobel Peace Prize nominees, or they're spies or CIA agents and shit like that. And, well, we don't officially acknowledge it. No, you can officially acknowledge that someone is lying. It doesn't matter if by default that would allow us to know something that maybe we shouldn't. You need to be transparent in things. This is why you don't lie about shit. This is why you don't withhold information. This is why if you're not really a medical doctor and you leave it ambiguous, you should be immediately given a 20-year prison sentence because you lied by omission. It's an extremely detrimental thing to society for someone to claim to be a medical doctor when they're not and hurt somebody. And in this case, somebody claiming to be some fucked up expert, the CIA should say, this fucker's never been in the CIA. Or he was drummed out of the military. I don't know if he was. He might have actually been a Marine Corps person. That's nothing unusual. But claiming to be a CIA agent and claiming to have been nominated or suggested for taking over some position, Secretary of Defense, you have no merit. You, as a living version of an argumentum, have no merit. Only if the names of the nominees and other information about them cannot be revealed until 50 years later, but only if the nomination was really made. If someone's lying about it, you're perfectly acceptable for you to say, no, that never happened. And this was supposed to have happened in 2017, February, or before. Kind of narrows it down, doesn't it? You know what else narrows it down? Me having an entire list of everybody who was authorized that year to be a Nobel Prize nominator, and forwarding the video and content of this to them. I don't think they want their reputation fucked over by some guy who uses the word Zionist with the little, air quotes and bunga bunga bungas and all that kind of shit. And yes, it isn't just a stereotype. It's a fucking problem. You guys keep bringing this shit up. If every conspiracy theorist or person who analyzes them would avoid this subject matter, you would actually gain a little bit of credibility, but you don't want that. So yeah, one conspiracy theorist said that another conspiracy theorist totally sent his name to the nomination committee member for the Nobel Peace Prize, and he totally was nominated. But then again, we won't reveal it, even though obviously we can reveal the no versus the yes. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And this was sad.